Okay, happy time zone, everyone. I listened to a little bit of my last video and I really need a microphone. Using my tablet's microphone from a respectable distance makes the recordings very, very quiet. And to get the microphone close enough to my face to be heard properly ends up showing almost the entirety of the room that I'm in, which is like none of your beeswax and also varies greatly. Um, so that's super fun. However, I've decided that I will tell the story about the longest plane ride I've ever had, which was also the worst. But it could have been much worse. Actually, there was this one time I was on a flight. This leg of the flight was, I think, only 5 hours long, but there was just child kicking the back of my seat the entire time. And I really wanted to yell at his mom and like make a big scene. But I just kept thinking that she would get him to stop. And she never did. And I think next time I'm going to pour water on that child. So, anyway, um, I took a flight on Turkish Airlines, which is great. Turkish Airlines was great. Love them. They have I was in economy, flying internationally, and had had the screen in the back of the seat in front of me, kind of thing. Not all planes have those anymore because they're going crazy. Um, I got on the plane in the evening and I was sitting next to two men who both seemed to be tour guides for old white people doing stuff now that they're finally retired and can now finally live. Both of these men had a wet cough. And this was pre-COVID, but that's still gross. And I wish face masks were more of a thing then. Anyway, so sitting in the middle seat and the farther seat are these two men. And so these old rich white people keep coming up to them and asking them questions while people are trying to get on the boarded on the plane and while everybody's trying to get settled and stuff. So that was super annoying. But I was wearing this fleece hoodie with really long sleeves and a really deep hood. And I had my sleep mask with me, my black silk sleep mask. And so I just kind of, had this sort of scarf thing. I pulled that up over my mouth and I pulled my sleep mask on and then I dug myself into my hood and I wedged my legs into the seat in front of me at the particular one or two ways that I do so that if I fall asleep and then my legs relax and I don't just, fall over the place. But what I was able to do was stay awake to eat dinner on the plane. I took 2 NyQuil liquid gels. I don't take NyQuil very often, so I was hoping it would work quite well. So I took those, and then I entered what I've heard referred to as a NyQuil coma for 8 straight hours. It was magnificent. I'm not sure I moved. I hope I didn't talk in my sleep. Don't really care. I had dozens of sick people on board just spreading their illnesses across the globe. And I woke up to the smell of breakfast, which I mentioned in my previous video when I was answering those questions. So that was great. It was fantastic. I didn't have to get up from my seat once. I really hate climbing over people. I always must travel in the window seat. So if I have to get up at any point in time during the flight, then I will have to climb over people. Hate it, hate it, hate it. So I have systems in place to sort of make sure that I don't have to do that. After a 13-hour flight, I was doing remarkably well, honestly. I deserve a trophy or something. I need an award. So I wake up to the smell of breakfast. I'm looking out my window and I see the mountains. And I'm like, hey, are those the Pyrenees? Hey, can I recognize the Pyrenees on sight from the air? I've never flown in this direction before. So I start just kind of thinking about how I could get confirmation about what where was, and I started thinking about where I thought we might be. And then I realized that the screen in front of me had the little option you can kind of see like an animation of where the plane is going and what the route looks like across, kind of the globe. And so I looked at that and I was like, haha, it was the Pyrenees. I was right. I'm the smartest girl in the world. And so I busied myself with that for a little bit and thinking about, what country we were going over and things like that. It was the morning. So it was daylight. And then it was beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, loved it. Looking at my window, I may have taken a few pictures, but you can only do so much. Google Images search will show you pictures of the Pyrenees Mountains from above, taken with a much better camera than my cell phone at 30,000 feet. And then I realized that there was also an option where you could watch the feed, I suppose it would be called, from a camera that was underneath the plane. So you could see live where we were flying over. And that was amazing. And that was how I distracted myself for the remaining couple hours of the flight. Before I had some really serious physical issues from sitting in the same place, eating 2 full meals and sleeping for 8 straight hours on a plane. So got off the plane, everything was fine, handled it all. The taxi was a bit difficult, whatever. It was a fine trip. And then when I flew back, it was also 13 hours nonstop because I'm uh, optimistic, I suppose. But it was during the day this time. Kind of like it felt like it was like a bus route, you know, the one from here to there goes in the evening, the one from there to here goes in the morning kind of thing. And I think I may have packed some NyQuil. Because I don't know, it's a different country. I don't know what their medications are like. I haven't taken it. And also, do I really need that? I don't know. But I do remember it was the longest 13 hours of the entirety of my whole life. I would never do it again, and I had to get up multiple times and climb over my roommates because people didn't have the same theater teacher that I had in high school. And they don't know that not only is it etiquette to get up and get out of the way of someone who has to go past your seat, but they were just jackasses. And I guess wanted me to sit in their laps on my way out and back, which is, I think I answered the question. One of the worst things about travel is other people just being weird or rude or entitled. Like, dude, I have to get out of my seat. You can make it easy for yourself and just get up and stand in the aisle for a second, twice. Or you can just be physically assaulted by the entirety of my whole body. I don't know. Maybe I should have charged them for that or something. That seems very strange. Anywho, that is the story of that flight and why I never want to be in economy on a leg of a flight that is more than, I don't know, 6 hours. 7 would be really, really pushing it. Let's call it 6 max, which means it would probably take me a couple of weeks to cross either ocean to a significant destination because, good God, or just go business class. And then just have a really great time. As idea, all things being equal. When I win the lottery, I will go everywhere business class, is what I'll do. I'll go everywhere and I will go there business class. And that is today's Ramble audio. I hope everybody is having a great time zone. And if you're not, as so many of us are not, that you had a good couple of minutes not thinking about it with me for a while. Okay, bye.